a very nice, humble man,
Brazil
has quit Yu-Gi-Oh!
45 pog.
He says as he sits in front of a giant card and a Yugi-themed giant sleeve or whatever. Solemn yugioh, everyone's favorite Belgian or Luxembourgian or Dutchman. I'm sorry, that region is sort of kind of all like the same sort of tax haven for me. So let's see what he said. Why did he quit the game? They're quitting again. Yugi tubers, content creators, they're all quitting once again. But the thing is, if he complains about price support, someone needs to link him to Nintendo Switch too, Nintendo Direct, because the price support of this game has just gone infinite. Think about it. You win a YCS, you can play Dust Blood.
Here we are, another one of these. I quit Yu-Gi-Oh video. I think this has to be like a little tradition in the Yu-Gi-Oh sphere, you know? Once in a while, if things have seemed too good or quiet or maybe horrible, I don't know, someone just has to go and a little gut punch. You know, not that, I don't think mine will be much of a gut punch. I actually haven't uploaded since last year, July or something. So yeah, let's tell the story. Before we get into everything, I think the first thing we need to discuss is that there's different kinds of Yu-Gi-Oh players. And the easiest way for me to, divide everything is 3 levels. There's casual, which is, you like the old series, maybe you play some GOAT format, maybe you play some Edison, maybe you go to locals once in a while. You might even, at the very tippity top, enjoy a regional with your friends and go like 4-4, and that was your day, but you had loads of fun at, table 2.
Am I being called out right now?
That is casual.
4-4 at a regional?
Spectrum, and there's nothing wrong with being casual. It is perfectly possible that you are having loads of fun, with a lower power format, or just with the anime, or you just collect, or anything like that, and I suck ass at this game, but I'm having fun. I don't spend a lot of time. I don't spend a lot of money, and it's totally cool. That's perfect.
What's
Honestly,
a regional?
You might be the happiest Yu-Gi-Oh player if you're in that category.
There is currently a country in the world that has its head of state wanted by the International Criminal Court and Criminal Court of Justice. That country has more regionals than Scotland. It's actually insane.
All right, so then we get into the
I'm not complaining though.
Player, which is something I think Team APS, started talking about. And if you're a mid-core player, I think you're the type to go to a regionals. You might even go to some YCSs. You've got some regional tops. You've got maybe a regional win, maybe even a singular YCS top at some point. But you are not a consistently topping YCS player. You are not traveling the world to go to all of these YCSs. You are not qualifying worlds. None of that. You might,
to be fair, that's like
a
very small percent.
On, regional size or how hard it was or how lucky you were.
No, I'm not speeding up the video. Shut up. Stop complaining about the video. The vault. Turn up your... No.
You are not in
be quiet. This is perfectly fine.
A mid-core player. And then you've got the hardcore players. Hardcore players, in my opinion, are the ones who are traveling the world probably to get as many.
Yeah, they're winning all the Nintendo Switches.
Budget, this might look different for other people, of course, but you are consistently topping these YCSs. You are in the world's race, whether in Master Duel or otherwise. You are grinding Dueling Book consistently to be at that top level, and you are in that conversation. People know you as one.
Mods, can we start timing out some of these annoying people to get subtitles? Shut up.
Jesse Cotton, the Hani, the LeBlanc, Ruben, and so forth. All these players topping consistently. That is the hardcore players, and I think it's very important to realize which you are and which you aren't. I would say I was part of those mid-core players. I've got some regional tops. I've got a regional win, sure. I have no YCS tops or anything like that. And that is 100% my fault. I did not test enough. I did not pick the correct decks. When Snake Eyes was clearly the proper deck to play, I was playing Ubel because I found it more fun. When maybe Rescue Ace was best deck.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that though. You can still be a mid-core player and play your favorite deck.
I was still doing fine, So I was
as long as your favorite deck is somewhat within the precipice of the meta.
The choices to be a consistently topping player. Why am I saying this? Because the way you enjoy the game is going to be extremely different depending which category you're in. For example, if the format is ass at one point, but you only play GOAT, that doesn't affect you. If the format is horrible, but you're only going to locals where you get to beat up the Trap Trick Structure deck, who fucking cares? You're going to have so much fun anyway, so it doesn't matter. At the same time, if the format maybe is a tier 0 format where the best minds are destroying each other and you get destroyed by the best minds, let's say, a tier 0 tournament format, if you're a hardcore player, you're having the time of your life. But if you're not, you do not have the time of your life. So again, depending on which category you're in, different things of Yu-Gi-Oh are going to feel different for you. And you might find the format awesome or not awesome.
It's a pretty fair character categorization.
So we have to establish this because otherwise none of the other things are making sense. So I was a mid-core player, doing fine at regionals.
This
going
guy's
to a
Belgian, his
YCC
English
there,
is very
modding
good. Yeah,
consistently
me when
YC
I
something
discovered
better or anything
the
like that.
existence
Now
of
I play another
Europeans,
card game,
man.
Cardfight Vanguard. It's a smaller game. for sure. Where I am
Americans are
I
crazy,
will go
dude.
to various events. I will try to qualify worlds.
These
I will
people
consistently be
speak
topping
more
these
than
events, be
one
winning these
language,
events, and so forth,
sometimes
because
two.
I have spent all of the time, the past years, to get to that level.
It's very
and
normal
also
for
putting the time
Europeans to speak
afterwards.
like
And that
3+
is something
languages.
I wasn't doing for Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's very important. You have to realize that if you try
Fluently.
to go in Yu-Gi-Oh from mid-core to hardcore, you are gonna have to spend the time. I know a few months ago, Pac was like, "Oh, I'm still topping despite having this hard job and so forth." But the only reason that's true is because Pac already put in a lot of that time the years before that. All of those high-level instincts.
Dude, the jump between like mid-core to hardcore Yu-Gi-Oh player is like absurd. The time investment that goes from just being someone who like regularly plays some meta at the local regional level and attends like most YCSs or events around their area. That's like a mid-core player, and then like to jump to the hardcore player, which is like regularly going to every event, sometimes even across multiple continents. Sometimes usually having to like own all the cards, or at least like having a sponsor who can give you all the cards and pay some of the accommodation and the flights. Like that's a big jump for basically no real gain in Yu-Gi-Oh other than like the love of the game, which is very commendable, but it's a huge unemployment diff. It's literally the unemployment diff, yeah.
Instincts, and then the connections you get from that are crucial.
I mean, you have to say, you guys have seen like the triangle diagram, right? Of like life. It's like sleep, social life, and then it's like usually it's like career or something here. But instead of that, you could just like do like this, like right, like Yu-Gi-Oh. So you can only like really pick like 2 categories, right? Like if you want to be really good at Yu-Gi-Oh, but you also want like to sleep, you're gonna have to sacrifice like social. Well, I guess in this case it wouldn't really be social life, right? Maybe it would be more like, I don't know, career or something. Or you could just maybe do all 3 and be like Pac, at which point you sacrifice your soul or something at that stage, right? Like,
just saying, oh, you need to know someone to do well. Not at all. If you
because in order to be top tier, hardcore at Yu-Gi-Oh, and be good at the game, but also like not be unemployed, there's just not enough time or hours in a day. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. You're gonna have to sacrifice like social life, which maybe isn't that big of a deal for some people because social life is intertwined within the Yu-Gi-Oh category for some people, right? Like Yu-Gi-Oh is your social life, but then you're probably going to sacrifice something like relationship, right? Like you are not going to be able to be a hardcore Yu-Gi-Oh player and be in a relationship. At least in a relationship where you get to actually see your significant other often, you know?
I am going to spend 8 hours a day on Dueling Book, grinding the living shit out of everything, and then I'm going to be playing like Iron Mans against the best players ever, and I'm going to do that literally 8 hours a day for 3 years. You will
like, this
be a
is the
hardcore
life of
player
all these
even if you
hardcore
have
players. Maybe not 8 hours a day, that's a bit extreme, but like Sam, for example, like he's in a bit of a hardcore Yu-Gi-Oh player period right now. Like his Yu-Gi-Oh life is like 12 hours of Yu-Gi-Oh per day. Like it's like a mixture of content creation, grinding Dueling Book, playtesting. Like that's what he does. Like that's his life. I don't know how he has a girlfriend, but he's doing it somehow. But guess what? He's basically unemployed, right? Because he's a Yu-Gi-Oh content creator. So it's naturally intertwined with his life. Normal people can't really afford like the time or resources to do this type of stuff.
0 connections today. Absolutely. This game, at the highest level, is extremely skill-based, the best players are consistently topping, and if you aren't, that's on you. But if you do not
You're
have
also
the time
unemployed,
to do
what's
that,
your excuse?
sorry,
Well, I
get
spend my
shit out of it.
unemployed
There
time
is
doing
no
fun
way
things.
You can put casual time into Yu-Gi-Oh! And become
Like,
a
Pack
hardcore
Dash.
player unless you already have the years of not doing that. So now that we have prefaced this entire story, we can talk about why I quit. So last year, I was having fun with Yubel at a point where Yubel was actually pretty strong. And Shifter was really annoying. You would have 10 players in the format, and
Floodgate
you
mentioned.
just drop.
To be fair, it only took 7 minutes to get into mentioning a floodgate. I thought it would be like probably within the first like 120 seconds. So really commendable that it took this long to mention floodgates.
Face.
I would have brought that up like
and
60 seconds in.
It's pass, I guess, and then they normal summon a Tenpai, and you lost. Hey, you can go home. Hope you had fun. Okay, next round. Draw face. Shifter. Okay. Pass. They normal summon a Tenpai. They won. All right. Hope you had fun. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Why am I taking a 2-hour train to...
I mean, I'm gonna do a video on floodgates again, by the way. I will admit I have softened my view of floodgates. This is gonna be a very sad video. But I personally have softened my view of floodgates a lot recently. However, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a lot of non-games. I'd say like a solid 20%, 15 to 20% of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games have zero skill expression, nothing to do with the players, other than just like the cards in your opening hand, or the coin flip. Specifically Macedo as well, right? Like, there's the Max C minigame. You get Max Seed. Did you have the out? Cool, you have to pass turn, they kill you. Or vice versa. Or Floodgate gets resolved and flipped, and you can't play. Your opponent drolls you, your opponent Lancias you in TCG, and you're just like, cool. You just go to the next hit. Like, I think a genuinely solid, like 15% of games is just non-games. Which is not to say that there still isn't skill involved there, because that's variance. It's a card game. There's going to be some variance. But the problem is that the variance in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like, yeah, you make up for it because on average, if you're a better player, you win more games than you lose. You grind, you climb up the DC ladder cup, the ranked ladder, the rated mode, wherever it is. That's true. But that's still time invested, right? In order to get through that variance. So even if you're really good at the game, you're going to have to invest the hours and time to get through the variance where you get that streak of consecutive wins that get you a YCS top or get you into the high rated, etc., right? So not everyone has the time and effort to go through that period of dealing with, like, getting through that variance. Like, how many of you people here have just had a very unlucky streak? Like, you sit down at your computer after a long day, you load up Master Duel for like an hour, and you just get like 0-4 coin flips. And then the one coin flip you do get, your opponent max sees you don't have an out. Like that happens consistently, right? Like that genuinely is just the experience of a lot of people, like once or twice a week. Nothing happens. You just wasted like an hour of your day, right? That has happened to a lot of people. On the flip side, you've probably had plenty of times where you just sat down for an hour and you just went 5-0, insta wins, opponent disconnects, leaves, bricks, and you just open the nuts. Like, that happens. Yeah, of course, the flip side of that happens as well. But for a lot of people who quit the game and don't want to play card games in general, especially Yu-Gi-Oh!, because of its fast pace and there's more high variance, I think I would argue, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, you're going to spend a lot of your time just thinking to yourself, like, why am I even bothering? Like, I don't want to go through that. That's also bad, though. Yeah, but obviously that winning because of variance feels far less worse than losing because of variance. That's just a fact, okay? If I sack my opponent and just insta-win against like a top-tier player because I just drew a floodgate or my hand was insane and they kind of semi-bricked, obviously that's just going to feel better, right? Like, no matter what, even if it's like bad gameplay, you will just feel better, for sure. Because you're the one benefiting. That's just psychologically a fact.
Randomly lose to someone who opened some fucking bullshit auto-win floodgates and then go home. This feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. And now you might say, oh, but, you should have just played the correct deck, which was Snake Eyes. And I agree. Again, if you are trying to become a hardcore player and you are consistently on the correct decks, these things will affect you less. But if you aren't, which is the large majority of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, Yu-Gi-Oh! At certain points simply fucking sucks. And then you can say like, oh, but that's only like specific formats, it's only specific decks, it's only... And I started thinking, is it only specific formats, specific decks? I started thinking back and I'm just like...
This is the thing. Over a course of like a certain amount of years at this point, this is why I basically don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! At a competitive level at all anymore, even the mid-core level. Because I think Yu-Gi-Oh! At its core, fundamentally, is a great game. But modern and competitive, it feels like it's at a point where I used to think Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a great competitive game and a great modern format that occasionally had bad formats, right? So, like, here's a big graph. Here's, like, fun, and here's, like, games played or something, right? And then, like, here's the format, right? It's, like, it's up here. And then as the years and the months go by, occasionally there's, like, a dip. And there's, like, a bad format. And then it goes back to being fun. And there's a big dip. And then it goes back to being fun again. And But recently, over the years, this is what I feel like the game is. I think the game, core, at its base level, modern, competitive ranked, by the way, because a lot of people say, Farfa, you don't even care about Yu-Gi-Oh! This is just a job to you. No, I actually really love Yu-Gi-Oh! I just, like, the modern ranked is what I think is miserable. Cube, drafting, playing dumb formats with my friends, peak. Nothing more fun than that. But this is what I think. Yu-Gi-Oh! Over the last few years, especially post-COVID, has been like this. Dog shit format, dog shit format, dog shit format. Occasionally a tolerable format, dog shit format, bad metagame, unfun tier 0. Oh, good format. Oh, dog shit format, dog shit format. So I think it's the inverse. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Modern is fundamentally bad that occasionally has good formats. That's where TCG is right now. That's why I really like Blue Eyes. I freaking love Blue Eyes Primite in TCG. I would go to locals tonight, but my wife is taking priority on the social life tonight, sadly, so I have to be with the baby. Anyway, that's a different point. So that's where I think modern is. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! For most of the period of the last few years is a bad game that occasionally has been good. Like this format, I think is okay. And even now you could argue this format is starting to become a little bit degenerate as well. Especially with some of the new things that are coming out and the support for Malice and things like that. Like that, those are just not fun decks to play against. But anyway, so that's where I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is at today. I disagree, but I respect your ability to reach your own conclusion and be wrong. That said, jump out of a window. That is my favorite subscriber. Mods, give him a extra VIP.
I feel this way every format. You know, like in Kashtira format, it was like, oh, you know, they'll hit.
Yeah, exactly. What? So good, bad format. Tier limit mirrors, good format. Photon Hypernova, Kashtira. So we're back to bad formats. Like it's just miserable. Unless you were playing Kashtira, the Kashtira mirror was actually pretty decent. If you didn't like Kashtira, if you don't like Snake Eye, the one deck in the format which you should be playing during those formats and stuff, you know? And even, by the way, tier, good format, I know. Some people, it's a Marmite format, right? Some people love tier format. Some people hated tier format. But that's just a fact. So a lot of people loved or hated that stuff. For me personally, the golden age of Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively, modern, competitive, ranked Yu-Gi-Oh! And I wish I invested more time and effort, man. I really do. That's my biggest regret, historically, is not playing more Yu-Gi-Oh! Between 2014 to 2017. The golden years of the game, dude. Banger format after banger format. I did not know how good it was until we had nostalgia on hindsight, man. I'm so sad. Anyway.
Kashtira, and then we can play fun Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. And mind you, I was playing Kashtira, you know, because I was forced to. but in Kashtira format, everyone, you know, they'll hit Kashtira, they'll hit Shifter, and then...
Like, think about it. The most annoying complaint about 2016 format for me was Dark Destroyer is untargetable. Like, oh boy, did we have it so good, man. That's what's upsetting you? Of all of the myriad of problems we have today? Of floodgates? Of 30 hand-trapped decks and 10 non-engine auto-win one-card combo OTKs and FTKs? We're complaining about an untargetable Dart Destroyer? That's what was upsetting for me back at the time? Oh boy, we had it so good. We had it so freaking good. Oh man, if only we knew. 2016 had Monarch extra deck lock. That's true. Thankfully, the standard was people were playing with the extra deck. But that's the funny thing. You go back to those formats historically, they all also had their bad points. Good formats, and then there's like, here's a Jin lock for like a couple months. Here's the domain lock for a couple months. Here's Scythe. Well, actually, people weren't really scything back then. What else was annoying? Dweller occasionally, you know, depending on your deck, was also like... Dweller, you know, it comes up every few years for like 12 years now. Anyway.
And after that, we can go back to a fun Yu-Gi-Oh! But then you think back, like, right before that was Tier 0 Tier Element, and I found that fun, but everyone else didn't find that fun. So, during that format, people were like, oh, but they'll hit Tier, because it's Tier 0, obviously, it's way too broken, and then we'll go back to fun Yu-Gi-Oh!
Surely.
But then you go right before that format, and that was like... Scythe Lock Turbo, and people are like, oh, no. See, we're gonna hit Scythe, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Is gonna be fun. And then...
This is the same copium sing-song that we make every single format. For years now. Literally years at this point. It's like, guys, trust me, this format is so good. They just need to hit Stormwind in Flu Wonder. Guys, trust me, this format is so good. They just need to hit Scythe. Oh, this format, guys, trust me, this format is so good. They just need to hit a rise heart, and then every single format, there's a but, there's a but, there's a but, there's a caveat, we're just one more card away from a good format. One more ban list, Yu-Gi-Oh's fixed. And it's true. It unironically is, by the way. One more format, Yu-Gi-Oh is fixed if they do it correctly. But you need to keep floodgates in the game. You need to keep, like, sales decks, you know, the money-making business, stocks go up, decks, to the reprint sets, you know. They have to exist. Because that's how the company makes money. Because fundamentally, at its core, the model for this game is bad. At the modern competitive level, I think.
And during tier format, even, you know, you got shifted that is your sister, and it's like, oh, but you know, they'll hit that, and then.
Can we really trust a man who has a Testina giant card?
Thing, and then Yu-Gi-Oh will become fun. And then the format after, it's like, oh, we're playing.
You know what? We should just stop watching this video. That's it. And that was perfect. Yeah. Can we really trust this guy?
These Snake Eyes mirrors or whatever you're playing, and oh, they flipped skill drain, and now you auto lose, and it's like, no. See, these floodgates, they're gonna hit them, and then Yu-Gi-Oh will be fun. And everyone keeps saying that we'll return to some, like, mysterious Yu-Gi-Oh that we all know and love. But I don't think any one of us has actually ever gotten to play that Yu-Gi-Oh. I do not think that the mysterious Yu-Gi-Oh that is fun that we will be returning to once the ban list fixes issue 769 actually ever existed. I don't think the fun Yu-Gi-Oh existed. And I know that's, like, very harsh to say because I love Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, you know.
And by the way, it's okay to like bad formats sometimes. You know, Adamantipator COVID format? I love that format. I know it was a bad format. I get it. You know, it's fine to have your bias. Next week, April 10th, effective from Unlock the Block, he's back. That's probably, Macedo's probably going to be pretty unfun. I don't care. It's fine though, because I like it. Right? It's okay to like bad formats. You know, that sometimes that also is true and fine.
This story is going somewhere, by the way. It's not just dooming. I literally got a Blue Eyes White Dragon tattoo. You know, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love the franchise. I love so much about Yu-Gi-Oh! I love Toon Monsters. I love Pegasus. I love Kaiba. I love Zane Truesdale with the
Imagine being a Toon fan. Miserable, dude.
But
your deck plays like a kaiju in BLS like, Banish, and that's your win con.
You know, when do I love Yu-Gi-Oh? If it's not a format, maybe it's specific games, you know? Maybe every format has its issues, but there are specific games that make it all worth it. And I start thinking, okay, how do I enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Do I enjoy Hand Trap Wars, where I lose to a triple tactics talents? Do I enjoy like, oh, a smart use of Imperm Nib, but then they opened Crossout and I lose on the spot? Do I enjoy that? Hell no. I don't enjoy that. When do I fucking enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh? And I think back, my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh is when there's no game-defining non-engine. Zero. You know, fuck your Ash, fuck your Imperm, fuck your Nibiru, fuck your skill drain, fuck all of that. Fuck your triple tactics talents taking a rise.
Oh, relax,
you know,
dude. Yo, chill.
And I understand if you had a format like that, you know, it would just be
potty
blah,
mouth.
blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying I want that format. I'm saying Yu-Gi-Oh is most enjoyable when not a single non-engine instantly wins the game, and there's like a giant board in front of me. I have 6 cards of engine, and I need to tactically maneuver through everything my opponent has set up, and I break the board and I OTK. Or the flip side, I built like a crazy board, and my opponent gradually needs to go through it with their engine, and I need to utilize my interruptions correctly to stop them.
I mean, we talked about this like multiple times, but I mean, to reiterate, Yu-Gi-Oh is most fun when you're playing, right? Like, think about it. Like, what does it mean to play Yu-Gi-Oh? It isn't just sit down and attend. It's like you're activating cards. You are numerically, physically resolving multiple effects in a turn in a game, and then having another turn, and then it goes back to you, then back to your opponent. Like, that's when Yu-Gi-Oh is most fun, right? Like, modern Yu-Gi-Oh is just too fast to do that. Like, they're just like massive number, a huge portion of modern Yu-Gi-Oh games are not interactive. They boil down to comparing hands, a floodgate resolving, a maxi resolving, etc., right? Like, that is genuinely, I believe, a solid 15% plus of games is just non-games, you know? It's good to be able to look back on a lot of your duels and be like, this is what I could have done better, and that's what I could have done better. But what are you supposed to do better when your opponent Lancias you? What are you supposed to do better when your opponent Dwellers you? Like, there's no learning from there.
Them from breaking through. That to me is peak Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, I've already seen the Vanguard ban list. Don't worry.
Going through stuff.
They banned Beatrice and Vanguard, by the way, for anyone who missed that react yesterday or the day before.
Fighting against each other. That is the peak Yu-Gi-Oh that I
I feel like that's all my games in
And then I
current
was
TCG.
thinking,
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
when
That's what I
does
said
that
earlier.
happen?
Current TCG is
Ever?
good, but that's an
And the answer is
anomaly.
it doesn't.
Because
That
as a
Yu-Gi-Oh,
standard,
that
TCG
mythical
is
Yu-Gi-Oh
bad.
that I finally defined as the Yu-Gi-Oh that I
But
love,
occasionally it's
engine
got a good
versus
format,
engine,
like
just
right
gradually
currently.
grinding through stuff, and so it doesn't fucking exist. Now, don't get me wrong, it will sometimes happen. You know, I vividly remember being at a regional, and my opponent had built a full Dragon Link board with every fucking interruption.
Oh god,
2
I miss
Bistros in
Dragon
hand.
Link.
I
Oh,
opened only
Dragon
Silence
Link
cards,
mirrors, man,
and
peak.
I played right through it. And I vividly remember that because
Current
I
isn't
I
even
walked
that
out of
good.
the
Mermail
venue
won
so
twice.
hyped. And I told my friends, this was the
Like, this is how cope Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, even just now, we're coping so hard about how good current Yu-Gi-Oh! Format is. We are coping so good, right? And it's like, guys, trust me, this format's currently good. And like, Mermail just won a YCS. Like, have you ever sat down and dueled against Mermail? Have you ever actually sat down and dueled against a double untargetable Toad? Like, it's just, that's what we consider a good format today, by the way.
most fun I've ever had in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just my engine and my plays going through their board was incredible. It was, and it was, the fact that I remember that specific game
After hand looping.
shows me that those games almost never happen. And now you could argue, oh, maybe it's because you just suck that you don't play through boards with engine. And it's like,
I went 3-0
no,
with Ashen
playing
Odio.
through boards
Dude,
with engine is
I
something
genuinely,
you
I
can
would
do.
like
It's
to
just
try that
very
deck.
often
I was gonna buy
the
a
board is
core, I
also
just never
backed
got
up by
around to
LOL
it.
Skill drain, now it won, I understand. But like backed up by LOL, Droll, LOL, whatever card. And so
Troll,
engine versus
lol,
engine
whatever.
games
What does
just
he
barely
say? What did he just say? Is this like the Belgian translation?
very often, the board is also backed up by LOL Skill Drain. Now it won, I understand. But like backed up by LOL, Droll, LOL, whatever card. And so like engine versus engine games just barely happen anymore. The only version is maybe the very low to the ground Kashtira
Bro,
Bestial
just
Theme
Droll,
type of
lol.
file versus another one.
Droll,
Because
lol, lol,
Kashtira
lol,
cards
lol.
and Bestial cards are kind of like engine and non-engine at the same time. I do like what they're doing there. But overall, this type of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just doesn't exist. And that hit me like a truck. Just like, you know, this game I've been playing for years and being just mid at because I'm not able to put in the time I should be doing if I want to go to that next level. Having the thought hit me that the Yu-Gi-Oh! I love doesn't exist was insane. And so at that point, I kept thinking like, okay, but maybe all of that is still fine if they start hitting those lingering floodgates. You know, they had been doing a good job, again, this was last year, gradually hitting. So I was like, okay, surely, you know, they just need to hit shifter, and then a lot of those floods are gone. Then the format might actually start getting somewhere. And then the mulch armies started coming out.
Oh,
and that's when things took a turn for
God.
the really worse. Because usually
I haven't played enough TCG to really experience it. But the fact that Charmies are more prevalent and defining than Macedo because of the side deck sounds miserable. Like, sounds miserable.
when a deck was able to play shifter, it sucked balls. You know, like if a deck doesn't get to use one of the best resources in the game, being the graveyard, that probably meant that the deck was a fair bit weaker. And so, you know, when Exo Sister shifted you, the games where they didn't shifter you, they were playing a shit deck, so it was fine. When Flu shifted you, whenever they didn't open shifter, they were playing a shit deck, so it was fine. Kashtira, I mean, that was the best deck for a reason, but it was still actually a pretty low-powered deck after they hit a Rysar 2-1 and Diablosis 2-0. So overall, shifter deck.
See, it's funny how some of you are disagreeing, but just look at the split here. Mulch armies are miserable, yes. I still haven't seen a Charmy. Oh god, we're complaining about Charmies. Charmies are fine, you know?
Straight up ass. Tenpai
Whoever you asked has a
too
different
strong
opinion
for
on
being a
them.
shifter deck, but I was thinking,
You know?
you know,
Why is it so
they'll gradually
divisive?
hit shifter.
Why is it so
It's
divisive?
mostly weird,
Why
it's
is there
in
no
its
like
line.
universally
But then these
accepted
Charmies were
like
straight up
cool
lingering
cards
floods
like that, you know?
every deck could play. And now I know some people are all pro Mulch Army or saying, oh, you know, you can play around them, but I don't think so.
A certain Dutchman convinced
Don't
me
get me
Charmies
wrong,
are worse for the
specific
game than
decks can play
Maxi.
true specific Charmies. But Mulch Army
Listen, if
Furrows,
Quantel
to
says they're
me,
bad, he is my go.
it
I
might
agree
as
with
well
him.
be Maxi. You can say, oh, but this deck can play through it, and then you know, pass on a little board and it's fine. But it's like, yes, but 95% of decks cannot. You know, if Mulch Army Furrows goes off against a Yubel deck, what are you gonna do? You're gonna Samsara pass, or you're gonna give them plus 71? I mean,
Yeah, but to be fair, that's the problem, right? Fundamentally, right? It's like, yeah, Charmy resolving against Yubel, you lose the game, right? Well, yeah, I know, but like that you're playing Yubel. If a Yubel combo resolves, you're not playing the game. So that's why, at its core, a lot of you are going to get really mixed up with the argument here. It's like, well, you deserve that for being a Yubel player, or or on the opposite end of that discussion argument, well, that proves that Charmies are overly bearing on combo decks and toxic, and it's like, that's the problem. Why is that a discussion? Why is that even like why does Yubel exist? Why do the Charmies exist? That is the core root of the issue. It's not like, I know this is extremely centrist, and taking the middle ground here. It's like, that is both problem. They are both shit. And it's like 90% of discussions with stun players end up in this situation as well. It's like, well, stun exists because you're playing a wombo combo there. And it's like, well, neither of these things should happen, right? It's like, you're playing stun as a reactionary to how cancer Snake Eye is. It's like, you deserve it. You deserve to be stuck under Tikaboo with Snake Eye. But it's like, why does that card exist? It's because this cancer crazy wombo combo deck is it. But okay, so why does that exist? Why is that in the game? Who made that? Do you know what I mean? That's the problem.
Up to you, but one of the two.
That's why modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively at its core sucks ass.
It's going to happen. And every single tier 2 deck and below is also in that boat. A Fuaros ends your life. It is over. So now you have to draw Ash, or call by, or play Cross Out, and welcome to the Maxi minigame.
Like, me looking at playing the game versus killing minorities. These are literally the same. Okay, bro. Okay, Prince. You need to relax.
And you are on the correct type of deck. You're totally fine here. You don't give a fuck. But that's not me. So to me, I was like, wow, this Yu-Gi-Oh! I hate, this Yu-Gi-Oh! I despise, is about to become even more common. And that's when I decided, I'm out. I'm just no longer going to waste my time being mid at this game that I do not have the time for to actually go beyond mid. So why am I even trying? I'll just quit. And that's when I stopped.
I mean, ultimately, to be very good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a big time investment. If you don't even enjoy the process to get to that stage, why even bother? Because everyone would say yes to a magic wand that just instantly makes you great at something, Would any of you here like to be a famous, world-renowned tier 0 athlete? Anyone here want like a multi-million-dollar salary? You just get to go out on the pitch and play football a couple times a week and get millions for that? A lot of people would just say, yeah, if they could just magically do that, sure, why not? But no one, or very few people, want to put in the time and effort to reach that stage. No one wants to get up at 4 a.m., go for a run, hit the gym for 3 hours, stick to a strict diet, go for a training session thereafter for 4 hours, be in bed by 8 p.m., not eat certain foods, not drink alcohol, not blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? So that process is very important because not a lot of people want to do that. So likewise in Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you want to be a YCS champion? Yeah, a lot of people just say, yeah, I'd love to be a YCS champion. Okay, but do you want to play test for 6 hours a night? Do you want to spend all that money on the accommodation and the cards and the travel? That process is and the training sessions and all of that stuff. Do you want to go through that? A lot of people don't have the time, effort, or even desire to deal with that middle ground, the process. No one wants to do that because it's just not fun, right? Like sitting and having to deal with all of the bullshittery that is involved with Yu-Gi-Oh! Outside of even just the gameplay itself. A lot of people don't want to do that, So that's a big jump that a lot of people don't have the desire or effort to want to do.
Now, at the time, I thought I would not be making.
Do you want to play against stun? Exactly. That's a process you will have to do.
Sucks and blah 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 blah. But now I'm releasing a song with my band, and I figured, this is the perfect time to milk this and get some pre-save.
Oh, so this what this is.
I mean, joking aside.
Oh, now we found what the point of this video is. Guys, buy my mixtape. Okay, now I see. This video is because we want to buy our mixtape. Preset. Dude, the only thing in the description is buy my mixtape. That's so funny. There's literally nothing else. No email contact, no sponsor, no actual description of what the video is talking about, no chapters, just buy my mixtape. This is so peak.
The actual reason I'm making the video is because I was at Locals, actually. So yeah, this story is going to have a happy ending, don't stick around, wait for that. But I was at Locals, and there was a friend of mine who I was talking to and was like, yeah, I didn't want to make like a doomer video. It's just annoying, I understand why some people do it because they're, they will be missed and a bunch of people are going to ask where they are, but no one's going to ask where I am. Who fucking cares? I just make some Master Duel videos from time to time. I'm not a big YouTuber or anything like that. And he said like, oh really? You don't have comments of people asking where you are? And I'm like, I never checked. So I checked, and it turns out on a bunch of videos people were asking where I was. So I was like, oh damn.
This video isn't very well structured. He complains about floodgates and charmies for 50 minutes and then drops a hashtag ad. There's so much more to the Yu-Gi-Oh issue. Well, I disagree. I think it has structure, and I think that complaining about probably two of the most frustrating things in the game that is enough to turn someone away from the game is absolutely a valid point. Like, what more do you need here? Like this, it's an opinion, it's a personal perspective. What more do you need here?
Damn,
You know?
I kind of left some people out to dry, so I'm sorry. So here's the video. I didn't want to worry you. I'm alive, actually. So yeah, so now I am making the Doomer video. But, before you think I'm a Doomer, here is the happy ending. You can save my band's song. I mean, you can, but that's not the happy ending. The happy ending is, as I said, I love Blue Eyes. And, you know, while I quit Yu-Gi-Oh!, I saw this ad. You know, I don't know if it was not an ad from official Yu-Gi-Oh!, but an ad for a Blue Eyes structure deck. A blue eyes? Wait, blue eyes? Blue eyes? So I was like, well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sucks balls, but surely it can be fun to summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon once in a while. So I got the Blue Eyes structure decks, and I started messing around with it.
And
like,
there it is.
This is fun.
I cannot like stress enough how freaking good Blue Eyes is. Cheap, accessible, simple to play, competitive. What more do you want? What more do you need? Why can't every deck be like this?
So fun. So I slammed the Blue Eyes engine into a 60 card pile and was like, wow.
Okay, he's burnt down the kitchen. All right, what the fuck is he talking about? All right, that's what just happened. What did he just do? What? He just ruined it.
This is great. And I went to locals.
Oh, and it's
I
back
had
chest.
fun playing at locals. You know, picked up my Blue Eyes structure decks, rammed the cards in, tried to get some of those fancy secret rares, and just played.
Rammed some cards in. He says that so nonchalantly, like, yeah, I know, I just had a couple of staples lying around and I shoved them in. Dominus Purge. $40 a set, a piece. Primite. $180 a set for the engine.
Played, and I went 2-2 or something like that. I don't know what the fuck all these Malice cards did, and I didn't know what Rezel cards did. I figured out what Detonator does. That
Rezel?
thing is crazy. That is fucking, why would you play anything but Rezel? You're out of your mind if you're not playing Rezel. Holy shit, Detonator is broken. So I didn't know any of these cards. I was just reading, but I went to 2. I summoned some Blue Eyes White Dragons. I had fun. I was like, wow, you know, once in a while, maybe this.
Dude, that's the thing. The results don't matter. My first locals, after like a year, I went 1-3 with Blue Eyes. And it was the most fun locals I'd had in years. Literally. So many of my games I could learn from. I could understand what I did wrong, how I can improve, what could have went differently. Imagine that, going 1-3 and it was one of the most fun events. Like, why is this deck not the blueprint for every archetype going forward?
This is not too bad. And that's when it hit me. Yu-Gi-Oh! Only sucks balls in the mid-core section. It suddenly made sense why Team APS made this video about the dying mid-core Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. That's me. I'm right here. Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't suck balls. Yu-Gi-Oh! Just sucks balls for the 60% of players in the middle. The players who are not putting in the time to become hardcore or don't have the money to become hardcore, but also try too hard to go beyond casual. Trust me, guys. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is great when you're a pro, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is great when you just want to mindlessly summon some Blue Eyes White Dragons and don't give a fuck what the outcome of the game is. I had fun. And so the next week I went to locals again. I once again played my Blue Eyes White Dragon. That was fucking awesome. So that's the happy ending. I may have quit Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know, seriously, because in my opinion, mid-level Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just a drag. But casual Yu-Gi-Oh!, just going to locals once in a while and summoning the ultimate whatever the fuck of destruction, that was great. And I had a great time. Now, does that mean
I came
will
back for
start
the
uploading
EWCQ.
again?
It was
Probably
pretty
not,
fun.
because
Are you going to caveat this, Arashel, and make sure that when you say something so simple like this, just and passingly, that you're forgetting to mention that you played Tenpai and you won Swiss with Tenpai, and with first after Swiss, or at least after day one, you were first after Swiss with Tenpai. I had fun playing Tenpai unironically. Mods, get him. Mods, get it. Mods.
I will have to become, you know, invested and actually care, and that's when I will become
That's
super
a good
frustrated
point,
again. I
honestly.
don't
Like,
do
to be
that.
fair, Tenpai
I'm
is
quite
probably a
happy
really fun
when
casual
I
deck.
can make awesome
Because
music.
you don't need to think too hard. The deck kind of plays itself. You just kind of activate some big, heavy hitter power cards, and it's fun, right? But for the mid-core player and the hardcore player, Tenpai is probably really fucking frustrating gameplay. I get it. But if you're just kind of casual, you just click some buttons, you win a few games undeservedly because your deck is busted or you've opened insane, like, it's great. That's how I'm going to be next week. Do you understand? When Adamancipator gets back Block Dragon, I'm going to beat a bunch of really good players, randomly undeservedly, because my deck is absolutely insane. I won the coin flip, and my opponents didn't draw enough hand traps. Like, that's just going to happen, right? And it's great to be in that casual position because you aren't emotionally, psychologically invested enough to care. Like, it doesn't matter if your deck is like fully optimized. It doesn't matter if you like, you know, are winning events with it. You don't care too much about the variance. You're just kind of like clicking some buttons, slamming some combos onto the field, and just auto winning because a lot of people just didn't draw the out. That's how it is to play against Tenpai, to play against combo sometimes. That's no different to the current Master Duel format.
Which also, is
yeah, but the entry level to current Master Duel format is like
Vanguard at the highest competitive level
very,
without spending too much time on it because I've been
highly
playing
skillful.
it for so long already, so I don't need.
Like, say what you want about
testing
Snake
as
Eye,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
like,
And then I can just
like
go
that
to
takes
Logos
learning
once in a while,
to
pull
be
up down
competent
Blue Eyes
at.
Neo Alternative Ultimate Your Mother Dragon and have a great time and don't care if
Blue
stuff
Eyes
loses.
Alternative
So that's
Your
it. If
Mother
you're a mid-core
Dragon.
player, I'm sorry, may you see the light one day. I'm not telling you to quit or whatever. I'm just saying, like, I'm having a great time down here, and pros are having a great time up there. If you're having a great time in the middle, awesome, keep going. But if you're not having a great time in the middle, you can put the time in to go up, or you can just get down in the mud. Get down in the mud with us, casuals. It's great. You can play Goat, you can play Edison, you can play Domain format, the weird commander thing. That looks
The
sick.
weird
You can
commander
just
thing.
not give a fuck and have fun once in a while and have a great life beyond that. You can still be part of the best franchise ever. Fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Fucking Duel Monsters. Don't give a fuck. It's great. That's all I have to say. And go check out my new
Wait,
song.
is he
It's going
quitting
out
or
next
not?
week. You can pre-save the thing at
yeah, I guess he's
Spotify,
quitting mid-core
whatever.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Enjoy.
All right, epic. I've been saying this for years. When you stop taking a game too serious and play it from a casual level, the main issues stop becoming a problem. This goes for any game too. Even with Yu-Gi-Oh! I recently quick Master Duel rank because Max C and I'm having a blast again. Queuing into casual where there's no stakes. Max C me after a full board, no problem. Next game, don't care. Meanwhile, in ranked, you lose the coin toss on a rank up game, open minimal hand traps, they max you on top of it, and all that shit makes you want to jump in front of a moving car. Peru! One more ban list and it'll be fun, and the realization you're chasing the ideal that never existed really hits hard. The entire video is me for Card Fight Vanguard Premium. I don't know if you've noticed, chat, but over the course of the last few years, do you know why that this was one of the most popular types of content on YouTube? Do you know why ban list reactions were like, they don't get as many good views anymore? Like, ban list reactions, multiple content creators would have like 100k plus, 150k plus on like a ban list reaction. Ban list reactions have kind of dropped a little bit on the high end. Like, they aren't as popular as much as they used to. You know, it's only really like one or two creators who get like big views on their ban list reactions. And do you know why? Because everyone was waiting for one more ban list. This like period here, somewhere between like 2018 to like 2022, 23, everyone was just like, one more ban list. Just a couple of hits, the format's good. You know? And it didn't happen. We started to slowly realize, wait a minute, Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't need just one more ban list. Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs like a fundamental overhaul at the core level. Anyway, TLDR, if you really want to truly enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Without having to spend like literally 10 hours plus per day, just play casually. Just the moment that you start playing made up formats, the moment that you start like drafting, the moment that you start playing like dumb, like barely win condition archetypes and decks against friends at the same power level, the game becomes so good. The game becomes the wonky quartet is the best thing that's ever happened to my content personally, because who the hell wants to sit and play real Yu-Gi-Oh? Watching Doug misplay with a card printed after 2019 because he just doesn't understand and hasn't read it is the best peak content I have in the game for me personally. You can probably find your own way to enjoy the game, and you can probably find your own Doug Zeef at your own local who also likewise produces as much bangers as he does when he doesn't read a card and misplay. That's the best type of Yu-Gi-Oh! And what I've been enjoying the most personally. All right, this has been my reaction. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I miss Solemn. He's a really cool guy. He's done a lot of good videos, and he's always been down to collab with me and had me on for stuff. So I really appreciate him personally. So it's sad, but I'm glad that he hasn't like fully quit. He's just like on the casual grind now, or not even a grind really. He's just on the casual. What's it called now? So, yeah.